Hello, everybody. I wanted to just record a very, very quick few thoughts for a change on a happy, uplifting topic on the Shabbos project that's happening this week. And we all know the Shabbat project is a worldwide initiative to have people spend Shabbos together and enjoy Shabbos together. So I just wanted to point out an idea from this week's Parsha that really relates to this. If any of you are involved in this, it's certainly a wonderful thing. My wife last night, the daughter, were involved in a huge challah bake, as I'm sure you know, they're going on all around the world. So it's very interesting. We see Avraham was really the first person who was involved in kiruv, right? Avraham Avinu was the one who went around and tried to bring people to Hashem, bring people closer to Hashem. And we see that he was most successful for a period of time, at least. He was most successful with his own relative, with Lot. And the pasuk says like this. I was going to share with you a thought about this. V'yal Avram Mitzrayim hu v'ishto v'chol asher lo v'lot imo hanegba. That after Avram and Sarah and everybody left Mitzrayim, they left and they went to the Negev of Israel. And it says v'lot imo hanegba. Lot was with him. So we know that in the Chumash there's two words that are used for with. There's either et, aleph, taf, right, or im, ayin, mem. And they mean different things. The Chazal tell us that es means that they're together physically, but they're not together in level or understanding, they're not on the same level. It says es ha'elokim hishalech Noach. Noach walked with Hashem, but certainly not on the same madrega. Es ha'elokim hishalech Noach. But here it says velut imo hanegba, that when they came up out of Mitzrayim after that Nesayon, after the challenge of being in Mitzrayim, so Lot was there together, imo hanegba. Now, it certainly doesn't mean he was on the same level as Avraham, but it means that they were together in their avodas Hashem. That Avraham Avinu was successful in affecting Lot and having Lot, appreciate. But you understand something else from this word imo. Lot wasn't a project to Avraham. He wasn't a project. He wasn't something like, let me see what I could do over here. He was with him. He was imo. Lot learned from Avraham, just from seeing how Avraham conducted himself, from seeing how Avraham went through his challenges. And from living in the house of Avraham, Lot was affected by that. That they were together into this. It wasn't like a project at his Shabbos table. It was somebody. Avraham Avinu was somebody, and we see this as a whole mahus. V'yikra Shem Avram b'Shem Hashem. Yeah, when he went between Beis Kel and Ai, he was there to share his love of Hashem and his appreciation of Hashem with everybody that he knew, with everybody that he could. It wasn't like he was out to do something. So we see some very important ideas over here. When we're looking to affect other people, to share with other people what we have. Somebody once told me they didn't like the term kiruv, because kiruv makes it sound like they're far and we're close. Okay, which there is some truth to that in a ruchnius way, but it's more sharing. We're trying to share. We're trying to show people that there's something so beautiful that we have, something that's so powerful and potent and affects us here in Olam Hazeh in such a powerful way, and we're looking to share that with others. Another thing, though, that we learn from this story, the flip side, that is something that applies to all of us, that we see with Lot, it didn't really end up sticking. It didn't stay. That when Lot and Avraham went together to Eretz Yisrael, so then Lot and his represented by his shepherds, they were stealing and letting their animals graze, eat in fields that didn't belong to them, whereas the shepherds of Avraham Avinu refused to do that. They would only let the animals graze and eat, in places where it was hefker, where it didn't belong to anybody. And as a result of this, there was this split. So what happened? What happened to Lot? That and then Avram says, let's split, let's go our separate ways. And then we know that Lot goes down to Sodom. And even though he maintains some remnants of what he learned from Avraham Avinu, we see it's clearly a yerida. It's clearly, he clearly drops down in level. So we just see something interesting about this, that, we know that in Mitzrayim, Chazal tell us this, that in Mitzrayim, Lot had a big Nesayon also, because, Lot could have exposed Avram and Sarah and made himself very, very rich. He could have told the Paro what the real story was, and he could have gotten all of that money for himself. And Chazal tell us that this was a big Nesayon for him. It wasn't easy for him to do this, to remain quiet over there in Mitzrayim. So we see that, from his Nesayon, that's the point at which he connected himself to Avram the most. But once they left Mitzrayim and things were easy for him, and he also left. Yeah, it says that Lot also had a kesef a mikdeh. V'gam Lot haholich es Avraham. See, hayatzonu vakar va'olim. Also Lot, who went with Avram. Now here already it says es Avraham. They already weren't on the same madrega. Once Lot has he had nothing to fight for anymore. He wasn't pushing anymore. Now he had all of his stuff. They left Mitzrayim, and now life was open to him. So he didn't stick with it anymore. So we see from this also an idea. When we're faced with challenges and struggles and nisyonos, that's what keeps us on the derech sometimes. That's what keeps us going straight. We know this Yishma Yeshur and Vayivat, that the pasuk says Klal Yisrael gets fattened up and then they kick back at Hashem. Sometimes when we're struggling, it keeps us on the straight and narrow, and we have to appreciate that when we have our nisyonos and our challenges. That Hashem is giving it to us, and we see it with Lot. Literally, it was able to transform a person from being im Avraham on the same level as Avraham, and then right afterwards, as soon as they leave, and he's no longer struggling, he wasn't already on the same madrega, and then we know from there they split, and Lot kept on going down. Anyway, I wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom. God willing, it should be a peaceful Shabbos for Israel and all of Klal Yisrael, and everybody involved in the Shabbat project. Kol hakavod to you. You should have a lot of hatzlacha, and share the beauty that we have, share the depth that we have, the enrichment that we have, and Bezrat Hashem, next Shabbos will be here in Yerushalayim all together.